Perfect squares and square roots. Let's add these definitions to your notebook. Perfect squares, the result when squaring a number or when a number is multiplied by itself. Square roots are the opposite of squaring a number. Perfect squares. We have a list of whole numbers, and on the other side we have a list of their perfect squares. If I square 1, or if I multiply 1 times 1, the product is 1. 1 is a perfect square. If I square the number 2, or multiply 2 by itself, the product is 4. 4 is a perfect square. If we square the number 3, or multiply 3 by itself, 3 times 3, the product 9 is a perfect square. And the same is true for 4. 4 times 4, or 4 squared, is 16. 16 is a perfect square. Perfect squares describe the area of a square. The area of this square is 4. 4 is a perfect square. We can show it with a square that has dimensions of 2 by 2. The area of this square is 16. 16 is a perfect square. It has sides of 4 and 4, which makes it a perfect square. Is 25 a perfect square? Can we make a square using 25 tiles? Yes, we can. And the dimensions would be 5 by 5, and it would make a square with an area of 25. Is 8 a perfect square? Can we make a square using 8 tiles? Well, if we draw this array, we could draw an array with 2 by 4, or we could draw 4 by 2, we could draw 8 by 1, or we could draw 1 by 8. But these arrays do not make a square. They make a rectangle. And so 8 is not a perfect square. Square roots are when we go in the opposite direction. We take the perfect square and determine what number do we multiply by itself, or what number do we square to get the perfect square. This is the sign that means to find the square root of the number that's on the inside. It's called a radical sign. So this says the square root is of 36. So the question we ask ourselves is, what whole number do I square to get 36? So I could say 5. Do I square 5? 5 times 5 is 25. No. So the square root of 36 is not 5. 7. 7 times 7 is 49. Is 7 the square root of 36? No. But 6 is. If we square 6 or multiply 6 by itself, we do get 36. So when we go in the opposite direction, the square root of 36 is 6. The square root of 9 is 3, because 3 squared, or 3 times 3, is equal to 9. So let's see if you can try some. What are the perfect squares that are less than or equal to 100? And what is the square root of 16? What number do we multiply by itself so that the product is 16? What is the square root of 81? What number do we multiply by itself so that the product is 81? And the square root of 1. What number do we multiply by itself so that the product is 1?